Good afternoon. I'm Glenn Jones, Chief Experience Development Officer at the Bermuda Tourism Authority. We are 6 weeks away from Bermuda Restaurant Weeks 2020. We felt it was the right time to start talking about it with our community because we want community to be a major focal point of what's happening next January. Our theme this year is simple, 3 words: food is community. The theme rings true because culinary is the perfect platform for sharing conversation, sharing culture, and sharing time with one another, with family, with friends, and with our visitors. If fellowship over food is your thing, you're going to really love Restaurant Weeks 2020, from January 16th to February 2nd. It's the 9th year of this tourism industry campaign, and each year it seems to grow in sales for local businesses, grow in popularity among consumers, and grow in importance for winter season tourism. This year, we're hoping to see further growth as we make a concerted effort to take Restaurant Weeks to the next level. Our next level strategy is 3-pronged. Further elevate local culture and promote sustainability from a food harvest almanac, coordinate with local restaurateurs farther in advance to create a longer marketing runway, and create memorable, only in Bermuda food experiences to capture imaginations and inspire travel. On that first point, we're in the final production phase of a food harvest almanac. This is the draft of the almanac right here. It is going to be a guide that gives people an idea of locally harvested foods and when they're available. For visitors and for locals, we hope it becomes the go-to guide for Bermuda's foods at their absolute freshest. For affluent travelers who care about sustainability, this guide should be especially valuable. Fruits and vegetables, seafood and herbs, a lot of it is in this almanac. Because farmers are the epitome of community, we worked closely with them along with beekeepers and fishermen. We're grateful for their contributions, and in return, we hope this almanac supports their businesses by raising demand for locally grown foods. We're also grateful to local restaurateurs for helping us act and think a little bit differently when it comes to Restaurant Weeks. In the 9-year history of the campaign, they've had to deal with us pestering them a little bit earlier than normal. By and large, they have stepped up because they understand this gives us more time to promote their offerings. This is how we're executing on the second part of that strategy, a longer marketing runway. In fact, if you go online right now, you'll see most of the Restaurant Week menus listed at gotobermuda.com/food. We're expecting 46 local restaurants this year. Almost all of them are live online right now 6 weeks in advance. And almost all of them are offering Bermuda-inspired meals. This is critical. All travelers want to try food of the place that they're visiting. Restaurant Weeks will deliver on that desire. Let's take Four Ways Inn, for example, the place we're at right now. Here they have almost 3 centuries of Bermuda history, and they've built a crowd-pleasing, mouth-watering local menu. We've asked Andy Detzer to whet our appetite a little bit by walking us through the Restaurant Week's offering. Andy.
Good afternoon, Glenn. And first of all, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be again, part of the Restaurant Week for now running 9 years. So it's super exciting, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to increase the business in January, which we're all slow. So for us this year, we're going to be starting off with fresh local Wahoo carpaccio, and that is very thinly sliced and served with a local Kalen avocado vinaigrette. And again, even the avocado, some of them we start to pickle now because we're not quite sure if the avocados are around. Then we're going to have as a choice Bermuda grown pumpkin ravioli with a Watson Farm goat cheese sauce and a crispy fennel. And again, most of you know the Watson Farm goat cheese is just there's no comparison to it. Then we have a local Bermuda fish, which obviously I cannot tell you right now what it is because we have to wait for the local catch. But it will be served with a lobster cassava, which is the traditional Bermuda cassava. We add some lobster meat into it, glazed carrots, sauteed broccoli, and an almond butter sauce. Then the second choice would be a grilled fillet of beef, which is served with carrot ginger, Bernoulli set, sweet potato fondant, glazed carrot, and sauteed broccoli. I'm super proud of the final dishes, which are the desserts. First of all, we have a South Shore cocktail souffle, and we are famous for our souffles. Now we added another choice on it, which is the South Shore cocktail, which is the local Gosling's Black Seal, the Gold Rum, which is blended with a lemonade and a little bit of a ginger beer. So we're bringing again the local flavors into it, and then it's served with the souffle. And the second choice will be local honey vanilla creme brulee, which is served with caramelized banana and a honeycomb. And again, we're using local honey, and we make our own honeycomb. So I'm super excited about January when the time comes around. So hope to see many of you. Thank you,
Andy. So that great menu that Andy was talking about here at Four Ways is part of the top tier in Restaurant Weeks. That means that the three-course meal he was talking about is offered at $52. There are also $42 and $32 prefix dinner menus, 3 courses, all of them incredible values. And once again, about 20 restaurants will offer a 2-course lunch menu for $22 during Restaurant Weeks. It's been my experience that visitors and locals prefer restaurants with Bermuda-inspired menus versus those without. Our food industry is taking notice. About 85% of them have dinner menus marked with a Bermuda onion. That means they have locally grown ingredients or a Bermuda story or tradition to share through the meal. It also means that that restaurant is eligible for a People's Choice Award. Consumers determine their favorite in an online poll, but they're only permitted to vote for those restaurants with a Bermuda-inspired menu. So we've covered local culture and an extended marketing period. Let's get to the third item on the strategy, only in Bermuda food experiences. On this one, we have quite the lineup, truly our most ambitious Restaurant Weeks plan ever. 3 food events, 1 in each of the 3 weeks of Restaurant Weeks, and all of them go beyond the walls of a restaurant. The kickoff is a fragrance and food pairing picnic. It's an experience that will seduce your senses. Lizzie Blackendell, the luxury experience designer at Atafel, known mostly for chic picnics, will join forces with Isabel Ramsey Brackstone, master perfumer at Lily Bermuda. The smell of local fragrances will be paired with the taste of local foods, and the wine experts at Discovery Wines will add their magic as well. It's going to be a picnic for the ages. And the best part is that the picnic will take place in a rose garden. The venue for this food experience is Waterville Rose Garden in Paget, a treasured cultural asset that is under-leveraged. We think it's also true that roses are underappreciated in Bermuda. We've asked John Howells, president of the Bermuda Rose Society, to tell us a little bit about why the winter season is so important to rose growing and how we can use that to dazzle visitors who travel here in the winter. So John, we're happy to have you join us as well.
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate you inviting us. Waterville, the Bermuda Rose Society first established a repository garden at Waterville, the home of the Bermuda National Trust, in 1988. It was created specifically for old garden roses at the suggestion of Dr. Charles A. Walker, Jr., founder of the Heritage Rose Society. The waterside garden of the historic 18th century house is a beautiful location. And also the fact is that groups of artists and school children are sometimes seen in the garden. Bermudians and visitors walk through and use the garden as a peaceful resting place. And they can sit on the benches that were dedicated to past presidents of the Rose Society. The Society tries to have one meeting, usually in April, in the Waterville Garden, when all members can take the opportunity to visit and, we hope, gain pleasure in the Society's repository garden. I've been working there for quite a period of time, and one of my joys and pleasures of working in the garden is when the blooms start to come into their full extension. And that's, as Glenn has mentioned, is around January, February, because we are halfway through our season, which takes place from October to May. So you can see the transitions of the different blooms and the rose bushes in the gardens. I am very grateful to be a part of this new venture, and I'm sure the Bermuda Rose Society is too. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so we look forward to being in that rose garden come January. We're creating a scenario where visitors from the northeast of the U.S. and Canada can travel here and have lunch in a rose garden while their friends and family are probably dealing with sleet and snow back home. Bringing alive Bermuda's rich African diaspora is an action of the National Tourism Plan. We found a way to activate that plan through food and community. On January 24th, the Bermuda Culture and Heritage Dinner with Chef Eric Ajapong, a finalist of Top Chef, will take place here in this very restaurant where we will tell Bermuda's story, and he's inviting his friends to come along. 2 young Bermudian chefs from Burmy Eats, as well as the team here at Four Ways Inn, will work together with Chef Eric to bring his vision to life. Chef Eric, who is from Brooklyn with West African roots, used his heritage as a constant thread in the kitchen when he was on Top Chef. The food was unfamiliar to the judges and to the audience as well, but they both fell in love with it because the dishes were delicious and the storytelling was compelling. Chef Eric is convinced he can do the same thing out here, and we can't wait. He visited this past August to do his research. One of the places he visited is Cubs Hill Methodist Church, and during his special meal on January 24th, Cubs Hill Methodist Church will be celebrated as one of the island's cultural treasures. It's a pre-emancipation sanctuary built by enslaved and freedmen in the moonlight so that they would have a place to worship. The church is still thriving today and has a story the world deserves to know. Church Elder Ivan Smith is with us now to explain what sharing the story of the church means to parishioners. So, Mr. Smith, you're up next.
The Copco Methodist Church is the oldest Methodist building in Bermuda. It was built by black slaves who carried the building blocks on the back in the moonlight. And the church is often referred to as the Moonlight Church. It was completed and dedicated for worship of God on the 17th of November, 1827. And there is a continual worship and services at the church since that time. On March the 22nd, 2002, the then Minister of Tourism, the late Honorable David Allen, unveiled a plaque depicting the church as part of the New African Diaspora Heritage Trail, and we're very proud of it. The building is constantly open to tourists who learn the church history and tour the building. When visiting Bermuda, they are given a tour not only of the building, but they often come back to visit the church when they come to Bermuda and worship with us. We have yearly visitors at Copco Methodist Church from overseas, especially America. We're proud to be part of this restaurant week. School children also come to the church as part of their historical programs. And they are often given essays and schoolwork pertaining to the history of Copco Methodist Church. We are very proud of our standing in Bermuda. We have a lot of history to offer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I saw in that picture that you got to meet Chef Eric when he was here as well. Everyone who attends the Culture and Heritage Dinner here will also go over to the church for a specially curated experience. I got a preview of that experience yesterday. It will be amazing. Get your ticket now. You'll be very upset if it sells out before you've had a chance to do so. A number of early bird tickets are available right now. The third of our 3 events is a fish fry. It's fair to say there's nothing especially distinct about a fish fry. They happen everywhere all the time. For Restaurant Weeks, though, we're having a fish fry in February, not in the summer, and we're doing it at the Bermuda Transport Museum and Dockyard, a place many people have never been. I've been, and it's fascinating. We also put this place in a category of under-leveraged cultural assets. There are horse carriages and motorbikes, classic cars, and antique road signs. So for the conclusion of Restaurant Weeks on February 2nd, Generosas, Frog and Onion and Bonefish will cook up some of your summer seafood favorites in a relaxed atmosphere on the doorstep of the Transport Museum. Plus, On the Rock and Dockyard Brewing Company will pour their drafts, and 9 parishes will serve its rum swizzle. It'll be a Bermuda tastemaker event, to be sure. Restaurant Weeks has resonated with locals and visitors for almost 10 years, and we hope these new food experiences resonate as well. But let's be clear, this is not an either-or proposition. It's an opportunity to choose both. Restaurant Weeks is 3 weeks long, which gives everyone a chance to eat in a restaurant and to eat outside the walls of a restaurant at one of these food experiences that I mentioned. We look forward to seeing the community around the table starting 6 weeks from now on January 16th. Thank you.